Everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm just doing a video today. And of course, it's going to be a angry, mad video, but nevertheless, I feel like it's in order. So, 2019, I'd pretty much decided that the Democrats were almost like a party of a failed state. Now, that said, I enthusiastically supported Bernie Sanders. I try to tell people, this is the only way to save us from this delusion of neoliberalism and hypocrisy and whatever the hell they're trying to do now. And, I was berated for being unrealistic and nobody's going to vote for Bernie and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. Just like in 2016, where I kind of shifted my focus onto that. Because, see, 2015, I was still kind of reeling from the aftermath of the precursors to the woke movement, the SJWs and stuff, and I was kind of like more libertarian. And then I kind of had a shift into supporting, populists like Bernie. And after that, I was very left-wing for a long time. And I still consider myself left-wing, like I said. But at the point of no return for me, as far as the political paradigm was, when it was like it was going to be Biden no matter what. And then you had this Michael Bloomberg guy get in there and muddle things up, and you had Elizabeth Warren accuse Bernie of sexism, and then all of a sudden, when Bernie's gaining momentum, he drops out, or he drops out. Everybody else drops out except for Biden and maybe, I don't even remember, Kamala Harris, maybe. I can't remember exactly, but everybody, like, synchronicities, man, they all drop out in one day. It was so stupid, and it was pretty well known that it was kind of a, Obama might have been calling some of the candidates, and Biden might have been saying, okay, you might be able to be a secretary of the treasury. Look at my hair, my leg hair, or rub my legs, and So, what can I say about that? I warned people for, at least a year, if not like 2 years, between like 2018 and 2019, that Biden was not a good choice to vote for. At first it was going to be Hillary, renewing her running, and then Biden jumped in the rain. I'm just like, this guy is a neoliberal hack, who, we have this Jen Psaki with the COVID tests, debacle moment, and we have all these other things that are going on that are just completely a catastrophe and a disaster. These tax breaks, you can there's like billionaire tax breaks even in the Build Back Better bill. I guess it was kind of snuck in, or some of these things like there was one thing that Trump did, and it's one of these tax brackets that he actually was ironically something that he fixed, and now they're putting all that back in there, like as far as like all this stuff that does not really help the working man or the working woman or whatever gender or that you choose to be. So you have all this defense funding, and then you have to have Ron Paul and Bernie Sanders get back together, or it's like Dennis Kucinich and Ron Paul back in the day, where you're like calling out the Saudi arms deals and all this stuff. It's just been a debacle, one debacle after another. Inflation. I mean, look at the virus response. More people died this year from the virus than last year, period. I mean, maybe we could have kept locked down for 18 more months or something. Yeah, that would be completely decimate the economy and completely kill way more people in the end than any of the mitigation measures have done. So you have this complete clusterfuck, and I'm just like, I don't feel happy about being right. I don't know. See, this is the thing about me, is like, I don't like being right about politics. That's the cynicism and the hatred. I'd rather just rock out on guitar, you know, drink some good coffee, and to be blunt, be with a nice young lady, you know, or read a comic book or watch a movie, you know. It sounds like that's the nerdy part of it, but I'd rather do that. Is my life. I don't want to sit here and talk about politics all day. Now, it's kind of like a bad drug that you're addicted, that you do it and then you feel good for a little bit and then you feel like shit afterwards, and that's kind of what that's kind of how it feels about all this stuff. But I don't want to be right about what certain people. I mean, certain people on the right call Beijing Biden. I think it's kind of funny calling him that. I don't care. I think it's hilarious. Whatever you think about that, I guess because he's trying to turn. I don't know. He's influenced by. Well, neoliberalism is very much into the Chinese capitalist experiment, and they have been for 25 years. I mean, I remember watching this guy. And it's nothing against China or the people of China or anything like that. I'm just saying. So I remember watching this guy on what was it? One of those Charlie Rose, another guy that got Me Too'd more recently, and he was talking about, he was an ambassador during Clinton or something. He's like, well, they all get a guaranteed free health care, and he was like trying to excuse us cuddling up to China and stuff, and oh my God, this is so transparent. So I don't mind the Beijing Biden label. I think it's kind of funny in a semi-ironic way, I will admit. So, there's another squirrel. I hope he doesn't eat my bike on the porch. So the whole impetus of this is that I warned people, I told people that this is a bad choice. And first of all, I didn't think he was going to win necessarily, but of course, he probably wouldn't have won unless that unnamed virus of foreign origin, to paraphrase a critical drinker, came about. Unnamed virus of foreign origin. Probably not foreign origin if you look at who funded it and everything. Actually, but ironically enough, Intercept has done a hell of a job at tracking some of that too, I might add. And the Intercept, they've been accused of kind of selling out to the neoliberals and stuff, but I think they're teetering the edge. They're on the line, but they're nowhere near like Young Turks at this point, or they're more on the Kyle Kalinske edge of teetering on that edge. So they're still good. They still do good work. Same with Glenn Greenwald. I think he still does do good work, and people are just like, he's alt-right because he goes on Tucker Carlson, whatever. So this whole thing it pisses me off. It's kind of like high school, I was in Iron Maiden, and it was not cool in the middle of that unnamed decade that I don't want to admit that I'm that old to like Iron Maiden. And of course you could probably guess, but it's like years later, it's like, oh, I love Iron Maiden. Everybody has them, on their Spotify playlist, even if they're not a metalhead. Oh, they have like Best of the Beast or some shit, or even they may even have a CD or a vinyl or something, even like normies and stuff. And it's like, well, I guess I was right to still like Iron Maiden because they came back around. But I keep getting proven right in history. But the time, the hellscape of living during that period where you are right about something and then you are constantly berated or seen as an outcast. I don't mind seeing an outcast because I'm an outcast on the point of no return. Punisher and Swordsman, I was born to burn. Manowar. Anyways, I don't mind being an outcast in some ways, but it's just like it is hard as a human being to feel that way. And when people are like, I just remember, oh, Bernie would never win, and oh, Biden will be okay. We can push him left. Yeah, look at how well that's gone. We can't even push him. It's not like he's right wing. He's this weird, like nebulous, corporatist mixture of neoliberalism and like a bit of like wokeness to season it in this really tepid and ugly way, and then also the corruption at the core, like with the COVID test thing. It's just so ridiculous. And like I said on my channel before, I might be a COVID idiot because I don't support a lot of the measures and mandates in some ways, or I question them at least, or I question the hypocrisy, whichever one you choose. But the testing thing, I've always been like, free rapid tests everywhere, just get them everywhere. You know, the Michael Mina strip, strip tests, man. Strip, like they're like a strip, like an acid tab, like a sheet of paper, like do an acid or something. I don't know. Anyways, you spit on them, the spit test basically. And if you had a mass produced like war time production of these, there's hundreds of them. Everybody has like a few hundred in their fucking house, and then you spit on one, oh, it's negative, but you're feeling sick, so you spit on another one, oh, it's positive. It's like, it would make things a lot easier and better. And I would support actually bars that just had you spit on some pieces of paper a couple of times, rather than having to just show the stupid card and then not be able to get a drink without wearing a mask anyways. It's so stupid. That's why I flipped off that bartender a week ago today. So, but it's like, it's just so ridiculous, and just everything's just falling apart as far as this administration goes. And it's just like, I told you so. And get off of there, squirrel. There's a squirrel outside trying to eat my chair and my bike again. So the whole impetus, as in like, I felt righteously opposed to Biden from the onset of this whole thing, and way before the election happened, 2019, 2018, I was like, no, I don't think Biden would be a good choice. Like, he's mediocre as a politician, and he's voted constantly for really bad stuff like the crime bill and stuff, and quantitatively better than Trump. And I don't really see it. Maybe less mean tweets, but like, for example, the only thing that I really got scared of during Trump was the whole North Korea thing, which, like I said before, I think there may have been some back channel talk and stuff during that whole tweet storm. That was a little scary. I felt like we got closer to war with North Korea at that point, but who knows, right? So I don't like Trump. I still don't, but I'm worried about Biden. That when are the Democrats going to learn that this lesser of two evils thing is making things, the evil of the lesser of two evils, more and more evil as time goes on? You notice that? In a certain way. This globalization, neoliberal, corrupt way. And, presidents have always been corrupt. The United States is built on corruption and lies, and a lot of it. At the same time, who do you prefer? If I had to choose, Jimmy Carter was not a terrible person. Of course, some of his policies were terrible, like in Central America. That's where Reagan picked off of that, and some of the stuff in Afghanistan with Brzezinski and all these foreign policy things that he did. And but he was not a terrible person. And Biden just seems like a sleazeball. And if you read about his family and stuff, and just a peanut farmer from Georgia, yeah, there was inflation under Carter, and he wasn't a great president, obviously, but I would take him. And hell, I would even say, if Reagan was like less corrupt in a certain way and was more moderate, he's just overall he's just a better person than some of these sleazoids in the White House right now. And I'm not saying that. Reagan had his own problems with the neocons rising in prominence in his cabinet and stuff. That was a clusterfuck waiting to happen, which did happen in 2001 and on. But it's like, but when are people going to wake the fuck up? It's like, I warn about this every election, every presidential election. I'm like, don't vote for lesser of two evils. Vote for the third party, or vote for the outsider. And of course, they might sell out too, for all we know, because Bernie kind of did sell out. He kind of buckled over for Beijing Biden. Beijing Biden. But anyways, yeah. So I warned people. Of course, I was right. My pontifications about Biden were correct and true, and that's the way it goes. And I don't know really how to deal with political conversations at this point, because it's like, okay, people are complaining about Biden on the left or whatever. It's like, you made your own house, you made your own bed. You're going to have to lie in it, you know? You're going to have to lie in it and watch as this American social fabric gets further destroyed and divided. You're the ones that did this by allowing this to happen. You did not raise a voice. You were the ones that were sold on the Russiagate thing that was proven, a lot of it proven to be wrong, even with Steele dossier and all that, you know, coming out the last few months. You were the ones that supported all these people. Well, he's better than the other guy. He's better than the other guy. How many years does it have to be saying that before that other guy, the guy better than the other guy, gets worse, almost becomes the other guy? You know, it's pretty much at that point now. I mean, how is Biden better than Trump, other than maybe like the pro-choice thing and, you know, a couple of other issues? Of course, that does matter, but it's like, when are people going to wake up? Of course, there's going to be some demagogue that comes along and says, I will change things for this corrupt system. And it might be worse than Trump, just like Jimmy Dore has been warning for years. It's like, when are you going to wake the fuck up? You know? And people don't want to wake up. They just want to watch Rachel Maddow and parrot her bullshit and her talking points and not even like look into anything else. Like, oh, I don't know what that is. It's kind of like my friend who used to work at a Blockbuster. It's like, someone had some obscure movie and it wasn't something they actually said. It was a caricature, a parody of what they said. It's like he would recommend, this is how it happened. He would recommend obscure movie because someone had some mainstream movie, and it's like, they were like, never heard of it, must not be good. You know, like that was his parody of what they were saying or how they acted. And that's how people act about alternative media. They just want to watch Rachel Maddow or Hannity or whoever the fuck and just be brainwashed, essentially. And that's really sad. I know people like that, unfortunately, that are just, they'll constantly have Stephen Colbert on at night and just like, oh, it's so funny, ha ha ha, make fun of the other person, ha ha ha. You know, it's like, they're just feeding into this constant stream of bullshit. But I can have hope because I was right. I was right. Biden is a disaster. I don't know if he's going to get worse or better. The whole country is just in this terrible mess right now with everything. And it's like, I'm proven right once again. You know, it's like, I don't know what to say. It's just, you know, some of my predictions I hope are not true. I hope I'm not a prophet. You know, I don't want to be a prophet. I don't want to be wrong. I want to be as wrong as like some of these psychics on TV, you know, that a lot of them are scam artists too, and they get information from the audience or they cold read. But, you know, I want to be wrong. I want to be proven wrong. I want to live my life again and not worry about all this shit. But anyways, that's about all.